This is the Diatone Roma F4 long range, and like I said in my original review of this product, I like it very much despite some of the problems. And the problem number one is that using the, let's be honest, Betaflight on the long range quad is rather not the best idea ever, because Betaflight is great for the flippity floppy, but if you want to fly long range there are better options than the Betaflight. Second of all, because the original GPS, this is not the unit that was originally, is rather not really able to pick a GPS fix in the reasonable amount of time. So it sucks, plus it lacks the magnetometer, so even the position hold isn't possible. And third of all, because there is no a simple way to install the INAV on the flight controller over there. I mean, you can flash INAV to the Mamba F4 or F722, I don't remember even the exact flight controller version Mark III to it, but you will not be able to use the I2C. And without the ability to use the I2C bus, you will not be able to connect the magnetometer, and thus you will not be able to have the position hold, because really the quad to hold position, you have to have the magnetometer. So very no good, but definitely quite far from being perfect. And because we can make it much better, I will convert this very quad to use the latest INAV to have all the goodies and all the fancy features that INAV brings to your quad. What we will do today, actually in the next few weeks, because it will really take a moment. First of all, we will replace the GPS antenna, the original, I think some kind of the clone of the Betaflight BN180, with the Matek SAM M8Q5883. You might notice that it's the same one. Yeah, but this one has the broken magnetometer, and as long as it runs Betaflight over here, it's not a problem. But for INAV we will need the magnetometer, so we will just install the not damaged GPS antenna with the magnetometer connected. We will also try to move the place where the GPS unit slightly further away, so that means I will probably have to design my own holder for the GPS antenna. We will also try to move the VTX antenna slightly further back, and probably we will, maybe not in this video, but in the next video, we will even replace the analog version with the Cadix Vista, because this will fix the Cadix Vista without a problem. And finally, we will replace the flight controller over here with this one. This is the, let me get the focus. This is the Matex's F722 Mini SE. Small, with I2C broken out, all the serial ports broken out, and with the black box, but the black box is, let's say, there. Analog OSD for the beginning, because the first flight will be probably with the analog version, and it's the 20 by 20 hole spacing, so it will just fit over here. There will be some challenges, like because the placement on the ESC connector is somewhere else, we'll probably have to change the order of the wires, but besides that, it should be a pretty straightforward process. So, what will happen now? Now there will be a build video, a montage video, when I will be just soldering something and replacing something, and maybe even designing something in the CAD firmware, and then we will try to fly it with the INAV installed. And then we will go to the summary, of course. incredible thing just happened. Look, we have sun, we have blue sky. It's cold, but it should be enough to record a video, final part of the video about the INAV conversion of the Diatone Roma F4 long range. In a moment I will tell you how the Roma looks like after it was fully converted to be INAV compatible, and then I will try to fly it. I don't know for how long, because although it's slightly only below zero, there is quite a strong wind and I have no bloody idea for how long I will be able to survive in those ungodly conditions. So let me get the camera and let's see at the Roma. And that's the Roma after the conversion. Probably the most important thing is in the back, when I installed a new holder for the GPS that makes it parallel to the board, and this is basically how the GPSs should be mounted, by the way. This is the Matek MHQ, but I already talked about this thing in the beginning, in the previous video in this series, so let's not concentrate on it. Instead, let's take a look over here. I installed the Cadix Vista and also a new holder for the antenna. Because I'm using Ghost, there's only one antenna for the RX and the second side is reserved for the antenna for the Vista. If you are interested in those 3D printed elements, then the links to the Thingiverse files are right now in the description. You might download it at will. I never really bothered to install any kind of the shieldings on the wires, because turned out it's not really necessary, and the GPS is right now just getting the fix without absolutely any problems. And in front there is the Matek F722 SE Mini, which is just like 20 by 20 millimeters with all the bits and pieces. And besides that, the Roma looks like it looked before. There are no major changes. Although, let's see if the INAV will like it and if we will be able to fly this thing like this thing was supposed to be flying. Results? Well, everything in the INAV conversion of the Diatone Roma F4 LR went almost perfectly well, because it was flying just from the beginning. All the GPS functions were working perfectly. Return to home and landing in exactly the same spot where you took off was working without any problems. Also, the position hold performance, you were able to park the quad in place, and I bet that either right now or before you were able to see the moments when I was just pushing this thing with my finger and this thing was holding position like crazy without any deviation of the current position. So almost a 100% success. Almost, because there is one thing that could be actually improved in the process, and the thing is that the default settings on the INAV turn out are not really like optimum performance on the acro. What will have to happen next? I will have to find the better tune. I will have to take a look at the tune that Betaflight comes shipped with this thing and then slightly tune it to better performance. Not that it was flying bad, but I'm not sure if this is because of the high wind, because unfortunately today is a high wind, or just the pits are not 100% up to the specs, was causing slight prop wash on hard maneuvers, and I do not have really like feeling that in the level flight everything was 100% fine. However, without doing much besides because what I did, I replaced the flight controller, replaced the GPS, printed some additional elements. I was able to have a nice sub 250 quad that you do not have to register and put your name on it, and you are able to fly almost everywhere with all the goodies that INAV comes equipped with. So, shall we call this project a success? I think definitely we will call it a success. I will be using this thing more, and when I will have a better tune, I will probably share it somewhere. I will not be tuning today because the weather is, well, sun is shining, but it's bloody cold, and already my camera is slowly dying. This is why no, it's not dying, although it hit the snow today, but it's not dying yet. So for now, thank you very much for watching, and until the next one. Bye bye.